السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. معكم إلى أنت من مجموعة الواتن الدولية. Today our lesson is going to be the final one, which we are going to discuss clauses type, asking, examining, and directing. Okay, now let's start with the first, sentence. We discussed that, there are many types, okay? Many types of clauses, okay? So if you want to characterize this type of clauses, we can make it in those 1 2 3 4 5 examples, like the following example. Let me highlight them. The first one, which is declarative clause. Declarative. We mentioned that declarative is توضيحي. Okay, closed interrogative. Interrogative استفهامي. Okay, open interrogative. Exclamative. Imperative. Exclamative, it means تعجبي. Imperative, أمر. Like here, the following example, according to the first one, you are very tactful. قلنا ومرت معنا نفس الكلمة. Tactful تجي بمعنى اللبق. You are very tactful. The second example, closed interrogative. Are you very tactful? Open interrogative, which is how tactful are you? How tactful are you? Okay. Then, how tactful are you? In this way, how tactful are you? This is, we call it exclamative. Okay. The last one, which is imperative, be tactful. So all of these, examples demonstrate the idea of the type of what we call it clauses. And let me just mention that a clause means subject plus verb. Okay. So although the correspondence between these clauses and the speech act, they can be used to form it as not one-to-one speech, acts do have a characteristic correlation with clauses type. So here the clauses type, which is declarative clause, interrogative, open interrogative, explanation, and imperative. What do they want to say that? على الرغم من التطابق, they are saying that, although the correspondence. على الرغم من التطابق بين أنواع الكلوز الجمل، اوكي، والسبيتش اكتس، اوكي، وطريقة الخطاب بتجي بهالمعنى. كلهم ما فينا نجيبهم we cannot perform it as use it to perform as not one-to-one. Speech acts do not have a characteristic correlation with clause type. يعني ما بيكون في نوع من الارتباط أو التلازم تمام بين أنواع clauses. Like the following example, clause type. Clause type, the following, we mentioned making a statement. They are telling us how to make this type of clauses, okay? So the characteristic speech act here. So the first one, the declarative, sorry, it's like kind of making statement, okay? Closed interrogative, which is asking a closed question. Open interrogative, asking an open question. Exclamative, which is making an exclamatory stative. Imperative, issuing a directive. So this is the differences. يعني هاي هي الفروقات يلي بتجي بالcharacteristic speech act بطريقة characteristic speech act, I don't know how to say it, بشكل الكلام، okay، وبين close type, okay. So this is the only differences. Now let's move on to the second page, which we are going to, discuss the directive, because they mention from, from the title of this unit, the directive. What does that mean? We are going, directives covers commands, instruction, request, iterates, and the like. Okay, what does that mean? يعني الدايركتيف بيشمل كل نوع الأوامر والتعليقات والطلبات والانتراتيز. This is interatives like kind مثل توسل or like begging. kind نوع من أنواع like توسل we call it. A closed question, okay, a closed question, is a closed of set of answers. So here, let me highlight it. Okay, so I do read here and tell us So a closed question is one with a closed set of answers. For example, there are just two answers for the closed question. Is Sue here? Namely, yes, she is here or no. So لهيك بنقول closed question، يعني سؤال مختصر أو مغلق، because الجواب دائما بنحصر بين نعم أو لا. Okay, but if I say, for example, where is Sue? So by this is kind of, we call it opening question. Why the opening question? So is a set of answers is open ended، يعني أنا عندي نهايات غير، يعني عدد غير منتهي من الطرق للأجوبة. Okay, if you were asking how to make or what is the difference. Now here we are going, where is the correlation fails? Okay, يعني ايمت يضعف التطابق, okay, between the characteristic speech act, okay, and the type of clauses. When this fail, متى يضعف? Let's stop here. Let's read the examples first. Closed interrogative. Could you please open the door? Okay, فهذا السؤال yes or no جوابه صحيح. الimperative, turn up late and you will be fired. So what does that mean? So actually the closed in the first sentence, which is the closed interrogative form, this is not imperative. Okay, this is this is not imperative. This is show that the answer can be yes or no. While the second one, which is the imperative form, this is would be not naturally interrupted as a directive. Okay, هي يعني ما فينا نعتبرها هذا الشكل هيدي الكلوز. This is it would not be naturally interrupted as a directive. ليه؟ Because I'm not telling you to turn up late. The whole sentence is understood as if it had a conditional adjunct, like it means if you turn up late you will be fired. لا في عندي أنا الأداة الشرطية المحذوفة بصراحة. لهيك وأساسا بغض النظر إنها بس محذوفة، هي الجملة ما بتتفسر بإنها يعني هيك صريحة وموجهة بشكل مباشر. ليه؟ لأنه أول شيء قلنا في إذا اللي هي أداة شرط محذوفة. تمام. the second thing that this is of course implied that should not be you should not turn up late. This is like kind of warning, مثل تحذير. So this is of course implies that you should not turn up late. So the sentence does not the opposite of telling you turn up late. ليه؟ لأنه لو كانت imperative، تمام، كان صار معناها اتأخر وانت رح تنطرد. بس هذا المعنى، بس هي I told you that this is a kind of warning. Okay, so it doesn't consider like order you to come late, okay, or to turn up late. Okay, so this is the differences. Now, clause type, not sentence type. Okay, So in the simplest cases, the terms can be applied, derivatively to sentence. For example, let's read the example. Kim made a mistake. Kim made a mistake, but does it really matter? Do you think Kim made a mistake? Okay, let's look. The first one, this is a clause, is it right? Okay, perfect. Now, the first one, the second one, Kim made a mistake, but does it really matter? So this is two clauses, is it right? What is here? Coordinators. What is here, guys? Coordinators, which is but, okay? So this sentence has the form of coordination of clauses، يعني عطف الجمل على بعضها، تمام؟ So the first is declarative. الأول وحدة، أوكي، أول جملة هيدي نعتبرها declarative لأنه يعني تصريحي أو توضيحي. And the second of clause interrogative type. هي الثانية، الجملة الكلوز الثانية نعتبرها تمام closed interrogative. Okay, so this is, this is how to, oh, my handwriting is very bad here. Okay, anyway, I'm working on my tablet, that's why. Okay, so this is the differences between the two type of clauses, as I mentioned. So we mentioned that the first clause, okay, before the coordinator, which is a declarative, توضيحي, okay, we got but, which is coordinator, and the sentence after, which is, interrogative type, clause type, okay, interrogative clause type. So شو اسمها هاي الجملة؟ شو اسمها؟ This sentence has the form of coordination of clauses. يعني جمل معطوفة. Please, try to remember the repeated words that I'm saying, okay? Okay, let's move on. Do you think Kim made the mistake? Okay, so here, what do we have? What do we have? This is, we mentioned that Kim made the, oh, sorry. We mentioned that, okay? Let me use the highlighter. Kim made a mistake. This is declarative, okay? This is declarative. I used blue the same because this is declarative. Okay, but it is merely, a part of larger clause. لكن هي جزء من clause من جملة أكبر. Do you think, So, Kim made a mistake. This is, هي بشكل مجرد جزء من جملة أكبر. Okay? That form the whole sentence. يلي بتشكل الجملة كلها. Which is also, we consider it, all of it, all of it, we considered as, interrogative, sorry. We considered as here interrogative clause also. All of it, okay? يعني لا interrogative لأنه استفهامية. Do you think Kim made a mistake? Okay? Is it clear right now? I hope so. So here we go. Clause type in main and subordinate clause. Clause type in main and subordinate clause. So we mentioned that, imperatives, okay, are normally confined to main clauses, but the other categories are applicable to subordinate clause. يعني الامبerative صيغة الأمر عادة تكون متضمنة بالمين كلوز، تمام؟ لكن بعض أو الفئات الأخرى تكون متطابقة مع السبوردينيت كلوز. هذا الشيء بتوضح بها الأمثلة هاي. This is that what is illustrated in the following example. So here we got the main clause. Let's use our highlighter here. The main clause. You need to guys, what you want to focus here, the main clause and subordinate clause. That what you are going to focus on, okay? That what you are going to focus on. Here. The main clause, number one, it was a success. It was a success. Two things, it was a success. Okay? So it was a success. What is this clause? We call it declarative. توضيحي. Two things, it was a success. What is this sentence? This is, we call it like, all of it. Okay, we call it didn't. Two things. Yeah, this is subordinate clause. Okay, now let's move on to the second sentence. Sorry, yes, no, this is, so it was a success. So thinks it was a success. Number two, was it a success? So here, this is a closed interrogative clause. Is it right? يعني سؤال قصير أو مغلق. She didn't say whether it was a success. هي لم تخبرنا إذا كان نجاح. Okay? So, how big a success was it? She wants to know how big a success was it. Okay? So, what a success it was. He told me what a success was. So here, what I want to tell you, okay, guys, or what I want you to pay attention on is that you need to, to notice that usually the subordinate clause, okay, are contained between two clauses. تجمع بين اثنين. Okay. So like, the first, one, okay, the first one, Sue thinks it was a success. She doesn't, this is not completely declared that, it was a success because the verb thinks. So while the verb, the second following example in here, she didn't say whether it was a success or she wants to know how big a success it was. I'm not asking question about its success, okay? And the last examples, okay, I'm making kind of explanation about how successful it was. That's according to this kind of sentence. But, forget about the meaning, okay? Because maybe the meaning is kind of, here where I was talking in B1, okay? And here, this is what I'm talking because, you need to know. But what I want to know, not only to focus on the meaning, to focus on the form, okay? The form of the main clause and subordinate clause, okay? Now let's move to interrogatives and, questions. So here, okay, what I want to pay your attention on, just pay attention here, highlight, okay. Note that we can distinguish actually between, the question and type of interrogative, okay, by the answer. So by the answer to a question and a response to it. يعني نحن نميز أنواع الأسئلة من طريقة الجواب أو الإجابة عليه. So, for example, is Sue here? Okay, and you might say that I'm not sure that would be a response. هذا ممكن تكون إجابة but not an answer. عرفتوا شو الفرق بين الإجابة والأنسر؟ Okay. So here, but if we ask, for example, where is so? I have asked, this is an open question whose answer will give the location of so. But again, if you said, why do you ask? That would be a response, not an answer to my question. يعني لما أنا بجاوب إنه أنا مثلا ما عندي فكرة والله ما بعرف ولا مالي متأكد، هدول نوع من أنواع الريسبونس، الاستجابة. الأنسر هو لما بتكون بتعرف الجواب وبتجاوب عليه بالتحديد. Do you understand it? Good. Now let's move on. Now the form of closed interrogative. The form of closed interrogative. You know, this is easy. Closed interrogative form is marked by the subject auxiliary, you know. So the subject occurs after the auxiliary. Here, like declarative, okay? It is raining. Is it raining? He can't swim. Can't he swim? The doctor recommended it. Did the doctor recommended it? Okay. Recommended. Sorry. So here, you know, the close interrogative, okay? The close interrogative differs from its declarative counterpart by having subject and auxiliary, okay? While the second example, the declarative does not contain the auxiliary. The dummy auxiliary do appears in the interrogative as it's described in, you know, number 3. Okay. Now, according to the here, you know, closed interrogative with subject auxiliary inversion clauses. Like the examples. We had never had I seen her so furious. Furious يعني كتير غاضب. Okay. Never had I seen her so furious. So here we have inversion because of never. Number 2, Jill approved of it, and so did her husband. You know, so Jill approved of it, and so did her husband. So here, this is also we consider like declarative. While the last one, why are you looking at me like that? So this is an open interrogative. But what I want to tell you that in the second sentence, you know, Jill approved of it. So did her husband, you know. So this, you know, I mentioned that this sentence belongs to the declarative, you know, category. The inversion is triggered by the occurrence in initial position of a negative element. Okay, so here what do I mean? You know, so belonging to the default declarative, you know, category, we said that inversion is triggered, okay, by the occurrence of initial position of a negative element. يعني اللي هي never and the connective self. These two sentences they said that يعني هاي الجملتين تمام هن تابعين لفئة التوضيح. اوكي الانفرجن هون أثير أو أثار بالأوكيرنس بموقعها الأولي تمام للجملة يلي إجت never بأول الجملة. Okay, which is occurred in the first, you know, or in intentional position of a negative element, you know, يلي هو عنصر نفي يعني موقعه في الأولي تمام. من هون from this sentence, you know, this is how it's shown that, inversion is not restricted only to closed interrogative. هذا بفرجينا إنه الانفرجن ما انها بس محددة على ال closed interrogation. Okay. Now, the second, the last sentence here, the last sentence, why are you looking at me like that? So here the inversion is triggered by the intentional interrogative element why. يعني هو تحدد تمام أو تأثر بشو بعنصر الاستفهامي الأولي why. A marker of an open interrogative type. Okay. Do you understand it? So here we are only talking about inversion, which is not, restricted to close interrogatives, okay? يعني it is normally can occur only, in another element, sentence element. Raising initiation, okay, as a marker of question. What does that mean, A closed question can be, signed, okay, by means of a raise in the intonation, so which is represented by, here instead of by a different cynetic font, like here the following examples. You are sure you can afford it? Okay. So they offered her $50, but she refused. Okay. So in these two sentences, okay, these are closed question, but they are not closed interrogative clauses. يعني هدول أسئلة تمام we consider like closed question. لا, this is from our tone, from our tone. Well, they are not considered, like interrogative clauses. We use of intonation to, mark a question does not change cynetic, clause type. So here, so here sometimes what they want to tell us, okay, that sometimes we can make close, okay, close question by focusing on the intonation يلي هو طريقة التون تبع الكلام لما بترفع التون بالأخير. You are sure you can afford it? Like this. By this way of speaking, by focusing the tone at the end, so this shows that this is a kind of closed question, okay? And the answer for it is yes or no and no. But يعني ما بنعتبرها close interrogative clause لأنه بس نقول interrogative يعني عندها الشكل تبع السؤال لما بيجي ال auxiliaries, before the object and then, the verb, blah, 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 at the end of the sentence, While here, each word, in its place, كل كلمة بمكانها. فهون بس التركيز كان على ترتيل الكلام. النغمة تبعية الكلام. اوكي فهذه معناها raising intonation as a marker of question. This is all. Now we are going to move on to talk about plural questions and alternative questions. What does it mean plural question? يعني أسئلة متناقضة أو متعاكسة. تمام؟ Like the following example. Did he read her note? Did he read her note? Didn't he read her note? Okay. This is what we call a plural question. So why do we call it plural question here? Let me try to highlight it. In a plural question, okay, one answer is derivable directly from the question itself. while the other it is polar opposite. It is negative or positive counterpart. يعني, what does that mean? For example, in the first one answer is yes, he read it, and the other is a negative, which is no, he didn't read it. Okay? فعندي بالحالة الأولى did he read her note? Okay, did he read her note? هون الأنسر شو بيكون عادة؟ إما yes he read it or no. Okay? While in the negative, the answer no, he did not read it. Didn't he read her note? For example, here in the, IB bot, here in the negative answer, because, they start with negative. So the answer, no, he didn't read it. Okay? So this is, derivable directly from the question. يعني هي مشتقة بحد ذاتها بشكل مباشر من السؤال ذاته. Okay? This is we call it الطريقة أو الأسئلة المتناقضة، تمام، أو المتعاكسة. Well, here the okay. While here the alternative question. Okay, we forgot to read. Sorry, we forgot to read the question about alternative. Like the alternative. Okay, here the alternative question is the meeting today, tomorrow, or next Monday. Is Kingston, okay, Rolling Stone Junior, or is it a hoax? Union here, بتجي بمعنى حقيقي، أو hoax بتجي بمعنى مزيف. عم بسأل عن kind of a person. Now, here we call it alternative question. شو معنات ال alternative question? Alternative بتعرفي يعني بديل، تمام؟ فشو معناها؟ Alternative question actually contain a coordination of elements. يعني غالبا most of the time, we used, coordination by, or, and, like this. But answer derived from separate coordinator elements. So like the first one, is the meeting today, tomorrow, or next Monday. What should be the answer? Maybe it is today, it is tomorrow, or it is, on Monday. This is the possible answer, okay? While the second one is the Kingston, okay, Union, or is it a hoax? There should be, one of two, one of two, because we got or. يعني أنا عم بيخيروني. They are, they are giving me two options. Because they are giving me two options and we use the coordinators, we call them alternative question because we should, choose one of them. Either this one or this, okay? Either union or hoax. That's all. Do you understand it? No, okay, sorry. I hope that you are understanding. Although this guys, this material is not so easy, but you should be familiar because you are studying now academic English. Okay, انتوا هلا عم تدرسوا انجليزي اكاديمي، فلازم تكونوا فعليا familiar مع هاي المعلومات. So here they are talking about different points, okay? But not here. So here we are talking about different, points, which is, do you want me to give it to mom or dad? Do you want me to give it to mom or dad? This is alternative question, but here We are focusing on what? The intonation. Is it right? عم نركز على ترتيل أو التون أو النغمة تاعت الصوت. Okay? Do you want me to give it to mom or dad? You know, did you notice how? You know, because the second type, which is polar question. How, you know, so here, with raising intonation on mom and falling intonation on dad, it's an alternative question. Because لأنه هون on mom or dad, I'm giving two options, okay? So this is why we call it alternative. While, okay, while in the second, you know, example here, does not have a separated intonation raise. يعني ما عندنا ارتفاع بنغمة الصوت على المام, but we have the raise at the end. يعني عندنا ارتفاع بالنهاية. تمام؟ فالانسر you know هون الجواب بده يكون انه okay, yes for mom or yes for dad, you know, give it to mom or give it to dad. Okay? So the answer, yes, I want to give it to mom or dad. Not I don't want to give it to mom or dad, you know. So بتمنى تكونوا فهمتوا الفكرة between البولار question والalternative question. دائما بس تسمعوا كلمة بديل معناتها I got two options. They are embedded in the question and I should answer by mentioning one of them. Okay. While polar, you know, I got two options, but I should, you know, I got, you know, but one, oh, you know, the answer, okay, I got two options, but here the answer was yes. Okay. The answer is with yes or no. Do you understand it? Now, interrogative tags. You know, tag question. For example, when we want to make interrogative tags, for example, your brother looked pretty embarrassed, didn't he? Okay. We hadn't done anything wrong, have we? So, in order to make, you know, the tag is by mentioning if the auxiliary in the sentence is, you know, in negative, we put it in the positive form plus subject. While if it is, you know, in the positive, we put it in negative form, okay, plus subject. But what if we don't have any auxiliaries? So we should, you know, we should recall a new auxiliary, which is do and does in the present simple and did in the past. Okay, that's why in the first sentence we used didn't. Okay, so the tags here are closed interrogative, reduced to just an auxiliary verb and a pronoun subject. Everything else is left implicate because it is recoverable from the preceding clause. Okay. يعني أنا شرحت لكم how to make interrogative وقلنا التاجز وقلنا التاجز كمان هي kind of clause interrogative. Okay. يلي هي مصنوعة عن طريق استخدام auxiliary and pronoun subject. Now the form of open interrogative. Open interrogatives are marked by, you know, presence of one or more of the interrogative words given, you know, like here, who, whom, whose, what, which, when, where, why, how. All of this, we can use one of or more in the interrogative, you know, in the open interrogative, okay? like the following example. Who called the police? Who called the police? Which version did they recommend? So according, by using who or which, we are asking about the subject, okay? Who called the police? Here I'm asking about the subject. Which version did they recommend? Here I'm asking about the object. They recommend blah, blah, blah. So this is here the object, And the last one, not the, the before the last one, what are they? Okay. What are they? This is non-subject. We call it non-subject. Why? Because it's not fronted, for fronted. What does it mean? يعني لم تقدم. And after that they went where? Okay, هون what we call it, and after that they went. So here, what does that, not fronted? What does that mean, by using the first two example, who and which version, here we are asking about the question, okay, which, the auxiliary, fronted يقدم مباشرة بعد ال WH word, okay, while according to non-subject, okay, here, what are they, okay, and after that they went where? So here, let me highlight. So here where is locative complement يعني وقعت في التكملة, and this is a non-subject, it is not fronted, though it occurs in the position where you would expected a locative of PP. يعني نحن اجت الوير موقعها تمام وين بالPP to be in a canonical clause. Actually, I'm so sorry that I mentioned this point. I should not, because I didn't give you the canonical clause. أنا ما أعطيتكم هالمعلومة عن ال canonical clause. Okay? Consider it's not given. اعتبروها مالها متضمنة بالكورس اللي نحن أخذناه. لأن ال canonical clause بدها شرح كتير كتير كبير. Okay, that's why. Forget the point. But I need to, all what I want from this passage is to be familiar with, by using who or which, we ask about who, we ask about subject, which version, like this way, we ask about object. Okay, what are they? This is not specific, ما له محدد، بس لأنه الجواب بيكون أكتر من أشياء، أكتر من شيء، which is, it depends by that, like when I ask where, the answer should be where, the place. When I ask by using when, so I am asked about date or time, okay, like this. So here we are going to talk about something that, so grammatical, which is the case, okay? Like, who and whom, whose, okay. Like here, who, whom, and whose are respectively nominative and accusative and genitive form. Nominative, شو معناها nominative case? Nominative, it kind of, جملة اسمية. Accusative, okay, مثل حالة النصب باللغة العربية, okay, and genitive case تجي بمعنى حالة إضافية, okay. forms of the pronoun who. يعني كلهم مشتقين، واحد بحالة اسمية، واحد حالة النصب، وواحد حالة المضاف إليه. So the choice between who and whom, like the choice between nominative and accusative form of personal pronoun. يعني الاختيار ما بين تمام الهو والهوم، مثل الاختيار بين حالة الاسم اللي هي الرفع تعتبر والنصب. Okay? Depends on two factors اللي هي الفانكشن and the style level. Okay? So the style factor, okay, the style factor applies differently than it does with the personal pronoun. Like the following example. Who wrote the editorial? Who wrote the editorial? So here, which is, I'm asking about subject, which is nominative. ليه؟ This is حالة رفع. باللغة العربية من إلها حالة رفع. Well, the second one, whom or who did Kim meet in Paris? Here, both cases are found, but whom is formal. الاستخدام اللي هو هون يجي بمعنى رسمي. Who is preferred in, مفضل يستخدم اللي هو in conversational spoken English by most people. هي مفضلة لأنه أسهل. Okay? So whom or who, both are correct actually. But whom did Kim meet in Paris? This is object of verb, accusative or nominative. يعني ممكن تكون حالة نصب لأنه إجت كأوبجكت بعد الفعل، وممكن تكون حالة رفع لأنه فينا نجاوب ب as a subject. Now, the second one, to whom or to who is he talking? So here, when the pronoun is object to a proposition, we need to distinguish between the construction, okay? So here the preposition is fronted with who. يعني هون الحرف الجر تقدم على الهو، تمام؟ which form interrogative يلي هو كمان بشكل استفهام. So this is quite formal وهذا كتير رسمي طريقة السؤال. To whom or to who is he talking? Okay, and normally requires accusative whom. يعني how to say it. So here it's better to say to whom is he talking because it is incorrect to say to who. Okay, to whom is he talking because the answer he is talking, so this is object, okay, which is accusative. Do you understand it? Who was she here? So هلا اللي بدي لكم اياه اذا حرف الجر بالاول بناخذ whom. Okay, so اذا حرف الجر بالاول بناخذ whom، لكن اذا حرف الجر بالاخر بناخذ who. Like here the following example, who is he talking to? Okay, so we don't prefer to use whom is he talking to, okay, because this is preferable in the English. يعني هذا الشيء مفضل باللغة الإنجليزية. This is also formal. Okay. According to this page, okay, Here they are talking about, usually the question with an open-ended set of answers. We call it replacement phrases. The answers are replacement phrases. يعني how to say, I don't know in Arabic. I don't, it's so hard to understand or to translate literally. Okay, but الأجوبة عادة بتكون phrases, replacement phrases, يعني تبدلية. So her father called the police. Okay, like the following example here. They recommended, okay, the most recent version. They are microscopes. They are. And after that, they went home. So here, the sorry. Okay, so here very often the answer is reduced to just the replacement phrases, since the rest is recoverable from the question without alliteration. From this, I just want to pay attention, to this one. According to the second page, here in affirmation question and direction question. The information question, did he open the window? Okay, like what did you give her? Yes, I did. What did you give her? I give her a CD. The direction question, okay. Shall I open the window? Yes, please do. What shall we give her? Let's give her a CD. So here, like, shall I open the window? This is kind of, imperative. Okay. نوع من أنواع الأمر, which is, let's give her a CD. This is, directive also, directive imperative. Okay. Now, this we mentioned this is the fourth type of question. Is it right? We mentioned closed, interrogative, open, interrogative, direct question, and this is echo questions. Echo question اللي هي في عندي, okay, echo. What does that mean? Uh, this kind of, one distinguished type of information question is the echo question, which is altered, يعني تلفظ in response of preceding alternate, which we call a stimulus. يعني بيكون عندنا محفز, stimulus محفز. She wrote to a minister. She wrote to a minister, to the minister, okay? She wrote to the minister by repeating and changing the intonation or the stimulus, المحفز. He invited Arthur. He invited who? Like this. So this is, the first one we call it that it's, polar closed interrogative, because the answer is yes or no. While here, he invited who? So it's open. So because the answer, it might be plenty of answers, okay? So polar echo typically, repeat the stimulus in full. يعني البولار نحن فعليا بالإيكو البولار interrogative نحن بالكامل بنكرر نفس الستيمولس, نفس المحفز اللي هو حفزنا إن نحن نسأل مرة ثانية لنتأكد من المعلومة. Okay? While in the open, okay, we mention only the first part. Okay? So while in the open echo, we repeat just the, the stimulus with a question word, okay? So we mention only, the stimulus with, as I said, that the question word. So here, which is the last point, according to our, unit, exclamative. Okay. So what does that mean? يعني التعجب أو الجمل التعجبية. Exclamative clauses are marked by an exclamative phrases containing what or who. Okay. كمان, again, this phrase may have a range of function. The major distinction, again, being between the subject and non-subject. Okay. يعني كمان الاختلاف between subject و non-subject. An exclamative, okay, subject occupies its basic position. السبجكت دائما يعني تقع بمكانها الطبيعي. Whereas an explanative non-subject, it is obligatory. يعني هي إلزامية fronted حتما. Like the subject, what and listen, people work in this restaurant. How clever you are. What a disaster would it be if they were to appoint his son? So here, when a non-subject fronted, the subject itself usually precedes by the verb. Okay? So here لما أنا قلت what a disaster, بلشت أنا ب what. لهيك أنا قلت non-subject, مو directly I put the auxiliaries. Okay? So in the second example, it is possible to have subject auxiliary inversion. While in the third example here, this is much less likely than, uninverted. What a disaster it would be if they were to appoint this, appoint his son. So this is the differences between the subject and non-subject. Okay? So بالsubject, what unpleasant people. Okay, so هون أداة الاستفهام okay اجت مباشرة بعد هالnoun يلي هي unpleasant people. وهذا الشيء بالنسبة إلي يعني فيني ما نو إلزامي. يعني فيني أقول how clever مثلا how clever you are. هي how are you clever, هي لأنها تعجبية فأنا شو حطيت؟ سبقت الصفة هون بعدين حطيت الفاعل والفعل آخر شيء. هي طريقة ترتيب الquestion interrogative. This is how show me that whether it is subject and non-subject. Okay. The last one, what a disaster, فأنا هون, this is obligatory. This is obligatory. This is not optional. هذا الشيء إجباري. لازم دائما هيدا التعبير دائما قرب. what a disaster. So here, the noun here, a disaster, which is preceded before the verb, this is obligatory. Okay. Okay. According to this lecture, which is our last lecture, I don't want to make the information hard for you. Okay. I want you to focus on, the type of phrases. Okay. And also, I give you at the end, this is our last, lecture, the interrogatives in order to know the type of interrogation clauses اللي تعرفوا يعني type أنواع الاستفهام باللغة الإنجليزية. وفي بالمحاضرة باليونت اللي قبل هي تماما اللي هي هيدي سوري اليونت 9 is it right في المحاضرة 8 النيجاتيف. يا ريت كمان تطلعوا عليها كإكسترا انفورميشن. بالنسبة لهذا الماتيريال، يعني أنا بعرف بصراحة إنه كان الموضوع كتير صعب عليكم، المعلومات كتير صعبة. بس كنت بتمنى إنكم تكونوا عم تحضروا وعم تتفاعلوا، وبتمنى إني أكون وصلت لكم الفكرة بالشكل التام، علما إنه المادة هي مانا سهلة وهي أكاديمية بحتة. تمام. حاولت بسط لكم إياها، بس للأسف أنتم كمان يعني ما كان في جهد مبذول منكم. أوكي. لهيك أنا بتمنى لكم التوفيق، وبتمنى تحضروا محاضراتي مرة واثنين وثلاثة، وإذا ما كنتوا شيء تسألوني أنا رح أكون متواجدة دائما. فيكم تتواصلوا معي على الواتساب إذا حسيتوا إنه أنتوا هي الفقرة أنا ما فهمتها مرة تانية مثلا، بعتوا لي على الواتساب واحكوا لي وأنا برجع بشرح لكم إياها. يعني أنا بصراحة بيهمني كتير مستوى الطالب. تمام. وبتمنى منكم إنه يعني تراسلوني وتسألوني في حال ما فهمتوا شيء. تمام. بتمنى لكم التوفيق. طبعا هي المادة بس لوضح لكم إياها، هي أكاديمية بتدرس لطلاب الدبلوم ولطلاب الأدب الإنجليزي ولطلاب الماستر ولطلاب ال PhD. يعني لكل الطلاب هي المادة بتدرس، وكل ما لا بتتشعب وبتتوسع حسب الليفل. حبيت يعني وأعطيتكم الشيء المختصر جدا منها، وما شعبت لكم إياها على فكرة. وإلا لو كنتوا مثلا طلاب أدب إنجليزي كانت يعني إسا المعلومات بدها تكون على أوسع وأشمل، وكل ما بتعلوا ستيج كل ما بيكون المعلومات أضخم. ف please don't be frustrated. يعني أنتوا دائما حتحسسوني إن أنتوا you are so frustrated what is this subject and we don't understand. You are not even trying, So please just to try, because your study is you are academically studying English. يعني أنتوا عم تتعلموا الإنجليزي بشكل أكاديمي. This is Cambridge. So wish you good luck, guys, and hope to see your messages so soon if you got any of the question. Okay.